Stop Caring, Listen to this every morning YouTube channel complete guide. Master the art of freedom, detachment, and unshakable peace of mind. Welcome to your liberation journey. Dear friend, welcome to the Stop Caring, Listen to this every morning channel, your ultimate destination for discovering the liberating power of strategic detachment, emotional freedom, and the profound peace that comes from releasing the burden of excessive concern. This channel is dedicated to helping you understand that caring deeply about what truly matters while releasing attachment to things outside your control is the gateway to unstoppable confidence and inner peace. Most people suffer needlessly because they care too much about the wrong things, others' opinions, outcomes they can't control, approval from people who don't matter, and circumstances that lie beyond their influence. This channel teaches you the art of intelligent detachment, caring about your values, your growth, your loved ones, and your mission while developing immunity to the petty concerns that drain your energy and sabotage your potential. Throughout 8 powerful pillars, we'll explore why you care so much, what's actually worth caring about, and how to build the mental freedom to stop being controlled by external validation. This isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about becoming so anchored in what's real and true that the noise simply stops affecting you. Please subscribe to our channel right now. By subscribing, you'll receive daily inspiration and practical guidance designed to be listened to every morning as you prepare for your day. Our community consists of thousands of people who have discovered the freedom that comes from intelligent detachment. Don't miss this opportunity to join a movement of people reclaiming their peace and power. Let's begin your transformation. 1. The liberation of letting go. Why you care too much. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. The average person wastes approximately 30% of their mental energy worrying about things completely outside their control. You care intensely about whether people like you. You obsess over others' opinions. You worry about outcomes determined by factors you can't influence. You lose sleep over what someone said about you. This excessive caring is not a virtue, it's a mental prison that robs you of peace and power. Understanding why you care so much is the first step toward liberation. Much of your excessive caring stems from childhood conditioning. If your parents' love was conditional based on achievement, you learned to care desperately about performance. If you were criticized frequently, you developed hypersensitivity to others' opinions. If you experienced abandonment or rejection, you became addicted to approval. These patterns run deep in your subconscious, driving constant anxiety and people-pleasing behavior. Additionally, social media has weaponized your need for validation. Every like, comment, and share triggers dopamine release in your brain, creating addictive feedback loops. Your brain, designed to care about your tribe's opinions for survival, now obsesses over the judgments of thousands of strangers. This is a recipe for anxiety and inauthenticity. The liberation begins when you recognize that excessive caring is a choice, a learned pattern, not a permanent trait. You can reprogram yourself. You can train your brain to distinguish between what's worth caring about and what's not. You can develop the emotional resilience to release attachment to outcomes while maintaining full commitment to your effort. This channel teaches you exactly how to make this transformation, starting with understanding where your excessive caring originated. Please subscribe today to receive daily reminders of what actually deserves your care and attention. 2. The power of strategic detachment and emotional freedom. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. Strategic detachment is not apathy or laziness. It's the intelligent allocation of your emotional energy toward things within your control while releasing attachment to outcomes. This mindset has been taught by philosophers, spiritual teachers, and high-performance coaches across centuries because it works. When you stop obsessing over whether people like you and instead focus on being the best version of yourself, people naturally gravitate toward you. The Stoic philosophers understood this principle perfectly. Epictetus taught that you should care intensely about your values, effort, and character while remaining completely indifferent to externals like reputation, wealth, and others' approval. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, wrote repeatedly about not being bothered by others' judgments. This wasn't because they didn't care about helping people. it was because they understood that serving others effectively requires freedom from the tyranny of others' opinions. When you practice strategic detachment, something magical happens. You become more confident because your worth isn't dependent on others' validation. You become more authentic because you're not contorting yourself to please everyone. You become more effective because you're not paralyzed by fear of judgment. People respect you more because you're not desperately seeking their approval. Ironically, by caring less about what others think, you gain more influence. The practice involves identifying what's truly within your control, your effort, attitude, values, response, and releasing attachment to externals, others' opinions, specific outcomes, others' behavior. When someone criticizes you, you evaluate the feedback. Is it true? Is it helpful? If yes, you learn. If no, you release it without defensiveness. This creates emotional freedom unlike anything you've experienced before. Subscribe now and receive our daily detachment affirmations and exercises that build this liberating mindset. 3. Distinguishing between healthy caring and excessive worry. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. It's crucial to understand that this channel isn't encouraging you to stop caring about anything. That would be psychopathic. Rather, we're teaching you to care strategically about what truly matters while releasing the exhausting burden of excessive worry about things you can't control. There's a critical difference, and understanding it is transformational. Healthy caring involves investment in your values, relationships, personal growth, and contribution to others. It motivates you to prepare thoroughly, treat people with kindness, develop your skills, and show up authentically. This caring energizes you because it aligns with your deepest values. When you care healthily about your craft, you work with focus and passion. When you care healthily about your loved ones, you show up for them with presence and intention. Excessive worry, by contrast, is mental suffering about things you cannot control. Worrying about whether someone likes you doesn't improve the relationship. It makes you anxious and inauthentic. Obsessing over others' opinions doesn't help you grow. It makes you small and self-conscious. Catastrophizing about potential disasters doesn't prevent them. It steals your present peace. This suffering is pointless and destructive. The distinction is clear. Does this caring motivate action I can take? Does it align with my values? Can I control the outcome? If yes to all three, it's healthy caring. Act on it. If no, it's excessive worry. Release it. A student studying diligently for an exam cares healthily because they can control their preparation. A student obsessing about the grade afterwards cares excessively because they can't control the outcome. Understanding this distinction liberates you from needless suffering while maintaining genuine care for what matters. Please subscribe to access our practical guide for determining what deserves your emotional investment and what to release. 4. Detoxifying from others' opinions and external validation. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. One of the most profound realizations you can have is this: other people's opinions of you are none of your business. Let that sink in. You cannot control what others think. You cannot please everyone. You cannot prevent criticism. Once you truly accept this, you become free. The constant background anxiety of, "What will people think?" finally quiets. Most people base their self-worth on external validation. Their happiness fluctuates based on likes, compliments, and approval. This creates an exhausting, chaotic inner life. One day someone praises you and you feel great. The next day someone criticizes you and you feel terrible. You're at the mercy of others' moods and judgments. This is no way to live. This is slavery to external validation. The detoxification process involves recognizing that your worth is intrinsic. You're valuable simply because you exist. Your value is not determined by your achievements, appearance, or others' approval. Once you deeply believe this, external validation loses its power. If someone criticizes you unfairly, you might feel disappointed, but you won't feel wounded because your worth isn't at stake. Additionally, you'll notice that many people won't approve of you no matter what you do, and that's actually fine. You can't be everyone's cup of tea. Some people will dislike you for legitimate reasons. Others will dislike you for no reason at all. Their dislike is about their preferences, values, and insecurities, not about your worth. When you truly accept this, you gain freedom to be fully yourself rather than a people-pleasing mask. Practically, you begin by identifying whose opinions actually matter to you and matter for legitimate reasons. 3 to 5 people whose judgment you trust and whose values align with yours. Everyone else? Their opinions are background noise. This practice immediately reduces anxiety and increases authenticity. Subscribe today and receive our daily affirmations reminding you of your intrinsic worth independent of others' validation. 5. Building unshakable confidence independent of external circumstances. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. Confidence that depends on external circumstances is fragile. You're confident when you're winning but devastated when you fail. You're confident when people approve but anxious when criticized. This roller coaster is exhausting. Genuine confidence is unshakable because it's based on self-knowledge, self-respect, and internal standards rather than external approval or outcomes. This unshakable confidence is built through understanding and trusting yourself. It comes from knowing that you have the resilience to handle whatever comes. It comes from a track record of setting intentions and following through. It comes from treating yourself with kindness rather than self-criticism. It comes from doing hard things despite fear and then discovering you survived. A powerful practice is creating a confidence inventory, a written record of challenges you've overcome, skills you've developed, times you've handled adversity, and evidence of your competence. When self-doubt arises, you review this inventory. You're not lying to yourself with false positivity. You're reminding yourself of truth you tend to forget when anxious. You have overcome difficult situations. You have handled rejection. You have persisted through failure. You are more resilient than you remember. Another practice is establishing personal standards independent of external feedback. Decide: I will show up with integrity regardless of whether anyone notices. I will do my best work regardless of whether it's recognized. I will treat people kindly regardless of whether they appreciate it. When your behavior is guided by your own standards rather than others' approval, you feel internally aligned and confident. You're not performing for an audience, you're living according to your values. This confidence attracts others because it's authentic and peaceful. People respect those who are secure in themselves. They're drawn to those not desperately seeking approval. Ironically, the path to being liked is not caring about being liked. Please subscribe to access our confidence-building exercises and personal standards framework. 6. The neuroscience of letting go: how your brain changes. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. Understanding the neuroscience behind why you care so much about others' opinions helps you reprogram your brain more effectively. Your brain evolved in small tribes where social acceptance was literally survival. Being cast out from the tribe meant death. Your amygdala, your fear center, is therefore hyperactive regarding social rejection. Your brain treats criticism like a physical threat, triggering fight-flight-freeze response. Additionally, your default mode network, the part of your brain active when you're not focused on external tasks, is biased toward rumination and social worry. Without deliberate intervention, your mind naturally obsesses about what people think. This isn't a personal failure, it's neurobiology. But neurobiology can be changed through repeated practice. Neuroplasticity research shows that the brain rewires based on where you direct your attention and what you repeatedly practice. If you repeatedly practice redirecting your attention from others' opinions to your own values, you literally strengthen the neural pathways supporting this behavior. If you repeatedly practice accepting criticism without defending or spiraling, you strengthen neural pathways for resilience. Over weeks and months, your automatic reactions shift. Meditation directly impacts the amygdala's reactivity, reducing its volume and sensitivity. Cognitive reframing, repeatedly challenging anxious thoughts about others' judgments, strengthens your prefrontal cortex's ability to regulate your amygdala. Every time you choose to care about your own standards instead of others' opinions, you're creating neural pathways that make this choice easier next time. Eventually, not caring what others think becomes your automatic response rather than something you have to force. The exciting implication is that you're not stuck. Your tendency to care excessively about others' opinions is a neural pattern, and patterns can be rewired. This transformation isn't about willpower, it's about repeatedly practicing new mental patterns until they become automatic. This channel guides you through exactly which practices most effectively rewire your brain for detachment. Subscribe now to receive our neuroscience-backed brain rewiring exercises you can practice daily. 7. Practical daily practices for releasing others' expectations. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. Releasing others' expectations requires consistent daily practice. These aren't one-time insights, they're daily disciplines that gradually reprogram your mind. Here are the most effective practices you can implement immediately. The morning intention practice involves starting each day with clear personal standards. Spend 5 minutes writing. Today, I will honor my values by. Today, I will show up authentically by. Today, I'm letting go of caring about. This anchors you in your own standards before the day's distractions pull you off course. The trigger observation practice involves noticing moments when you're caring excessively about others' opinions. Someone criticizes you and you feel defensive. You don't get a like or response and you feel rejected. You're about to speak but worry about judgment. Notice these moments without judgment. Observation itself creates change. Simply noticing the pattern breaks its automatic quality. The values clarification practice involves regularly reviewing your core values. Write them down. When you're tempted to contort yourself for approval, ask, "Is this aligned with my values?" If not, release it. Your values become your North Star, making decisions about what to care about much simpler. You care about your values. You care about genuine relationships. Everything else is negotiable. The external conversation practice involves literal dialogue with internalized critical voices. I notice I'm worried about what my boss thinks. Is this worry helping me do my job better? No? Then I'm releasing it. Speaking this aloud creates distance from anxious thoughts and reminds you that you can observe and choose rather than being controlled by worry. The evidence review practice involves regularly reviewing evidence that you've survived others' disapproval. You've been criticized before and survived. You've been rejected and recovered. You've been misunderstood and continued. This evidence proves you're more resilient than your anxiety suggests. Please subscribe to receive our daily practice guide and printable worksheets for these essential disciplines. 8. Becoming unstoppable: freedom from others' approval as your superpower. Target views: 1,200 to 1,400 views. When you stop caring excessively about others' opinions, you unlock capabilities that were previously impossible. You become unstoppable. You can take bold action without being paralyzed by fear of judgment. You can share your authentic ideas without contorting them for approval. You can make decisions based on your values rather than others' preferences. This freedom is your ultimate superpower. Consider the trajectory of highly successful people across fields. Entrepreneurs who build great companies typically had to ignore naysayers who said their ideas would fail. Artists who create meaningful work typically had to disregard critics who said their vision was weird. Leaders who create positive change typically had to endure disapproval from people invested in the status quo. They succeeded precisely because they cared about their mission more than others' approval. Your potential is proportional to your freedom from others' judgment. As long as you're contorting yourself for approval, you're operating at a fraction of your capacity. You're making decisions based on what others want rather than what you want. You're pursuing paths you think you should pursue rather than paths that excite you. You're small, constrained, and unsatisfied. When you release attachment to approval, you expand into your full potential. This doesn't mean becoming selfish or disrespectful. It means honoring your own needs, values, and desires with the same respect you show others. It means making decisions that feel right to you while still treating people kindly. It means being honest about who you are rather than performing a false self. It means pursuing your genuine passion rather than a career people approve of. The people who transform industries, create meaningful art, build loving relationships, and impact the world are those who've released excessive concern about others' opinions. They're free to think originally, act boldly, and be authentically themselves. This freedom creates confidence that attracts others, success that validates their choices, and fulfillment that comes from living aligned with your truth. Your superpower awaits on the other side of releasing excessive caring about what others think. Subscribe immediately and join our community of people building unstoppable confidence and authentic freedom. Bonus section: Your daily listening practice. How to listen to this every morning for maximum transformation. This channel is specifically designed to be listened to every morning as you begin your day. Here's how to maximize the benefits. The daily practice, 15 minutes. 6 to 6:05 a.m. Listen to your chosen content from one of our 8 pillars. 6:05 to 6:10 a.m. Sit in silence and let the ideas settle. Notice what resonates. 6:10 to 6:15 a.m. Journal about your biggest takeaway and how you'll apply it today. 6:15 to 6:30 a.m. Write your morning intentions using the framework provided. This 15-minute practice primes your brain for the day ahead. You're setting neural patterns that influence how you respond to challenges, criticism, and external pressures throughout the day. The weekly review, 30 minutes. Once per week, typically Sunday evening, listen to all the content from the week without distraction. Reflect on progress. Notice which principles are becoming automatic versus which still feel effortful. This creates accountability and accelerates integration. The transformation timeline. Week 1 to 2, you'll notice increased awareness of when you're caring excessively about others' opinions. Week 3 to 4, you'll begin catching yourself in the moment and practicing detachment. Week 5 to 8, you'll notice decreased anxiety and increased authenticity. Week 9 to 12, you'll experience significant shifts in confidence and peace. Month 4+, these principles become automatic, and you notice you simply don't care what others think anymore. Personalization for your life. You might listen to the same pillar multiple days if it's particularly relevant to what you're facing. Facing criticism? Spend several days on detoxifying from others' opinions. Struggling with people-pleasing? Focus on building unshakable confidence. Let your circumstances guide which content serves you most. Tracking your progress. Keep a simple chart tracking your confidence level, anxiety level, and authenticity level daily on a scale of 1 to 10. Review after 30 days. You'll likely see marked improvement, which reinforces the practice and motivates continued commitment.